In 2010, Britain announced a high-speed railway that would connect London to Manchester in under an hour. The budget? £33 billion. What actually got built? A line to Birmingham, a journey already served by existing trains. Total cost? Nearly £100 billion. And the most important question nobody is asking is not how it went wrong. It is why the system was designed so that going wrong was always the most profitable outcome. The original vision was genuinely ambitious. HS2, High Speed 2, would be Britain's largest infrastructure project since the Victorian era. London to Birmingham in 49 minutes. On to Manchester and Leeds from there, slashing journey times, decongesting the existing network, and rebalancing an economy that had tilted toward London for a generation. The 2010 budget was £33 billion. By 2013, it had risen to £43 billion. By 2019, the government's own review admitted it could hit £88 billion. The official figure used today is $98 to $106 billion, and even that may be understated. If the scale of this is already surprising you, subscribe. What happens next will make you genuinely angry. But the budget explosion is not the story. The story is the mechanism that made the explosion inevitable from day one. And to understand that, you need to understand two words that appear buried in the contracts: cost plus. A cost plus contract works like this. The contractor agrees to build something. Whatever it costs, they get reimbursed. Then they receive an additional fixed percentage on top as profit. It sounds reasonable until you realize what incentive you have just created. If the project costs more, the contractor earns more. Delays are revenue, overruns are income, scope changes are opportunities. The contractor has zero financial incentive to come in on time or under budget, and every financial incentive to do the opposite. HS2 was structured almost entirely on cost-plus arrangements. 13 firms collected more than £1 billion each from the project. Balfour Beatty and Vinci, working together on a joint venture, accumulated over £5 billion between them. These are not failed companies. They are extraordinarily profitable ones, because HS2 was structured to guarantee them profit, regardless of outcome. The answer to how a government spends £100 billion and ends up with less than it started with is buried in those contracts. This was not an accident of poor planning. The incentive structure pointed one direction from the moment the ink dried. And here is what makes this remarkable. Government officials knew. The National Audit Office flagged cost-plus risks in 2013. Parliamentary committees asked hard questions in 2016 and again in 2019. Each time, the project continued. If you are finding this eye-opening, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this reach more people. The first serious alarm was 2013. The budget revised up by a third before a single meter of track had been laid. Then came 2019 and the Oakervee Review, commissioned by Boris Johnson's government. Its conclusion: the project had been afflicted by what it called optimism bias, the systematic tendency to underestimate costs and overestimate benefits at the approval stage. Optimism bias is not a personality flaw. It is a documented, measurable phenomenon in infrastructure procurement worldwide. Project sponsors consistently present artificially low numbers to win approval, knowing that once construction begins, it becomes politically impossible to cancel, the sunk cost trap. And HS2 fell straight into it. By October 2023, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak stood at the Conservative Party conference and announced what the construction program had been quietly dreading. The northern leg, Manchester, Leeds. The city's HS2 was sold on connecting, was cancelled. Britain would get a high-speed line from London to Birmingham. Nothing more. The reaction in northern England was immediate. Mayors, councils, business groups, all furious. They had planned decades of development around the promise of connectivity. They had been used as a justification to sell the project to the public. And then they had been discarded. What made the cancellation worse was what came next. Labour won the 2024 election. HS2 to the north had been a centerpiece Labour argument. Keir Starmer had campaigned against Sunak's cuts repeatedly. Yet, within months of taking office, the Labour government confirmed the northern leg was not coming back. Britain had spent nearly £100 billion. What it received was a high-speed connection between London and Birmingham, 126 miles, a journey already completed by existing trains in 1 hour 20 minutes. The Avanti West Coast service running today on Victorian infrastructure covers the same route. For comparison, Japan built the original Shinkansen in 1964 at a cost, adjusted for inflation, that is a fraction of what Britain has spent on HS2. South Korea's KTX high-speed network connects its major cities coast to coast. France's TGV spans the country. All of these were built by countries that did not use cost-plus contracts as the primary procurement model. So why does Britain keep producing these outcomes? Hinkley Point C nuclear power station, originally budgeted at £18 billion, now projected beyond £46 billion. Crossrail, the Elizabeth Line, $15 billion over budget, and 2 years late. The pattern is not coincidental, it is structural. Here is what always happens. In the approval phase, costs are minimized and benefits exaggerated to secure political sign-off. Once construction begins, cost-plus contracts transfer financial risk from private contractors to the public. By the time the overruns become undeniable, so much public money is already committed that cancellation looks worse than continuation. And the contractors, the Balfour Beatties, the Vincis, the Skanskas, they walk away profitable every time. The losses are socialized, the profits are private. This is not a bug in the procurement system. For the companies involved, this is the system working exactly as designed. And so here is the answer to the question I asked at the start. How does a government spend £100 billion and end up with less than it started with? It signs contracts that make overruns profitable for suppliers. It approves budgets built on optimism bias because honesty would never survive a vote. And when the numbers become impossible to ignore, it cancels the parts of the project serving the people who needed it most and calls that responsible governance. Britain did not accidentally waste £100 billion. It built a system that guaranteed it. The question is whether any government, of any party, has the structural incentive to change that. So far, the evidence says no. If this gave you a sharper picture of how mega projects really work, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into current events. What do you think? Is HS2 incompetence or something more calculated? Drop it in the comments.